This is a presentation on participatory vendor selection. In large organizations like hospitals, concluding to group decision is an overwhelming task to achieve. However, collaborative decision can be reached using the participatory selection technique. This presentation will show how to bring a group of decision makers to a consensus even when regarding the selection of a vendor for information systems. Selecting the right vendor is important as it is a long-term investment, but it is also directly impacting the realm of patient care. There is a 7-step process in the selection method. First, relevant stockholders are identified and invited to participate. Second, each stockholder is interviewed and a model for their preferences are constructed. Third, the group is invited to meet and revise a consensus model developed from the individual interviews. In step 4, the group proposes a scoring procedure to go hand in hand with their revised consensus model. In step 5, the group discusses the major differences and clarify their assumptions and redo the scoring procedure. In step 6, the group measures the vendor's performance on various criteria and uses a consensus model to arrive at one overall score for the vendor. In step 7, the facilitator documents the group's consensus model and the scores that various vendors have received and distributes the results throughout the organization. This is a chart representing the preferences of the first expert, who is the Chief Financial Officer. After the one-on-one interview with the financial officer, the analyst found that cost was the highest preference with a weight of 0.6, while the ease of use and compatibility were secondary factors, while the ratings were designated by the analyst. On the other hand, this is a chart representing preferences from the second expert, who is the Chief Nursing Officer. It can be seen that the ease of use was the top priority with a weight of 0.7, followed by compatibility with 0.3 and cost with a value of 0.2. This preference can be accredited for the fact that nurses would prefer to use systems that are quick, efficient, and easy to use, but one that is compatible with other systems. This is a model or chart that was accumulated after both the conclusions of the group meeting, where both experts discussed the different attributes and came up with a consensus on the different levels. Here are two hypothetical vendors that met the components of the vendor's preferences. As seen, each vendor A and B are represented with different colors for distinction. In this table, the experts provided the weights on each of the preferences, and cost is the top priority with 0.5, followed by ease of use at 0.3 and then compatibility at 0.2. These are calculations that are computed to help us select the optimal vendor. The overall value of the vendor can be calculated by calculating the weighted sum of each of their ratings. For example, the vendor has a rating of 100 at cost is multiplied to its weight of 0.3. The rating of 100 for compatibility is multiplied to the weight of 0.2, and the rating of ease of use of 0 is multiplied to the weight of 0.3. All these numbers are summed to give an overall number. As seen, vendor B has a higher figure than vendor A, so it is recommended to the experts to select vendor B. This table shows the summary of the data for the attributes, the weights, levels of each vendor and its rating. As found after computation from the previous slide, vendor B is a recommended selection. The process of vendor selection can be a gruesome and frustrating experience. Even after the selection steps, the organization may not reach a final agreement on choosing the vendor. However, this process conglomerates different information and makes it applicable for organizations to analyze the best choice. Also, since this process is very interactive between the respective experts, it allows for information and thoughts to disseminate into productive discussion on the optimal choice of IT investment. Furthermore, quantification is equally valuable because it allows subjective thoughts to be expressed in numerical figures which can then be used objectively in decision making. Lastly, conducting interviews is the most valuable facet of this vendor selection process, as this allows the experts to query, clarify, and express their opinions to the analysts without any external influences from colleagues or fellow experts. But this also makes it an engaging and personable experience. In conclusion, the participatory vendor selection is a process through which an organization can quantifiably make decisions on future IT investments.